Hey everyone, this is Michael with the general reading for Gemini Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Whether you are an individual who has these placements or cross-watching for someone else who does, hello and welcome. Everyone is welcome to watch this video. I do apologize they're coming out just a little bit late. Thank you all for your patience and understanding with me. It really is a gift to be able to put out these videos. It's amazing to be part of this tarot community. Everyone's been so sweet. And it's wonderful. So thank you all who have been supporting this channel with your likes, shares, subscribes, and comments. It really means a lot to me to be able to put out these messages for all of you. Now, before we actually go into the tarot reading, I do like to start off these videos with an astrological report for those of you who are new to my channel. If you just want to go straight ahead to the tarot reading, you're not interested in the astrology, you are welcome to look in the comment section. I'm inviting someone to leave a timestamp down below. I will pin that comment so you can just look for that. I do recommend it, however, because I do feel like the astrology can be very helpful in getting an overall flavor for the month. It can just help, even if it's not applying to you, help you figure out how the people around you might be feeling or why there's some sort of weird energy perhaps in your social circle. I think it can be helpful to know, and it's also really good at helping you figure out what might be happening when. You know, what specifically, whatever comes up specifically in the reading could be happening at a certain time. So I do think that it's useful. And September is honestly a really, really intense month. There was a lot of transits and aspects that were happening. It was almost triple the movement that we had last month. And honestly, I wasn't even able to write notes for all of the aspects just because of how many there were. It's a very busy month. We're definitely in Virgo season, right? I do actually have a blog post down below for those of you who would like a list of all the specific aspects and transits and the dates that they are occurring. But unlike previous months, I have not gone as in-depth as I usually do just because of how much is happening. So I do apologize for those of you who really like the details. But I did write an overview. I did give my overall energetic interpretation for the month. I still looked at everything. I just didn't write things out individually. And what's so interesting about September is we have a lot of beautiful trines that are happening, with all of these planets in the earth signs right now. We have the inner planets moving through Virgo, so that's Mars, Venus, Mercury, and of course the Sun. And then we have Pluto and Saturn in the earth sign Taurus, in Capricorn, and then we have Uranus in Taurus. So we have all of these planets really complementing each other's energy, which is really, really nice. There's a lot of new opportunities for growth and expansion, but the issue is that we actually do have Neptune in Pisces, the opposite sign of Virgo, so there's a lot of opposing energy here. There's a lot of being unsure of ourselves, of, second guessing things or the people around us. We also have Jupiter in Sagittarius, which is squaring all of these movements through Virgo. And again, this is kind of, it's a little uncomfortable. It's almost like a wall or obstacle. So even though we have a lot of forward moving energy, it's like we're being pushed into a wall. It doesn't feel very good. It's not a very cozy season, unfortunately, but I do feel like there's a lot of potential to overcome and to find resolve. And if you can achieve that, you're not only going to get what you want, you're going to get what you want and then some. That's kind of what Pluto offers us. Of course, towards the end of the month, we are moving into Libra season, which is a fellow air sign for you, Gemini. So you'll be experiencing some trines, possibly with your own natal chart. But the problem there again is that we have all of these squares now going through Libra and Capricorn, which is a lot of restriction. And for you specifically, where all of this is kind of playing out, Virgo is in your 4th house, which is the house of home. It pertains to home in the literal sense, your physical home, and also the figurative, metaphoric sense of where is home, who are you, your roots. there may be a lot of attention that is being brought to that area of your life right now. You may feel like you're being criticized a lot by your family members, or especially your parents. Could also be some siblings as well. I do feel like with the 5th house, there is much more. You are coming into wanting to do something that feels good for you, you know, following your passion. But again, there's a lot of restriction that you're experiencing there. And interestingly enough, we do have Saturn actually going direct on the 18th of this month. This is going to be, I feel like there's been a lot of delays, or people have been, they felt held back by something since the end of April. You know, that is when this retrograde began. And with it going direct, I do feel like we are able to move forward again. The collective, whatever it was that we have felt stifled in, we are able to go forward again. But it's still not easy energy, especially for you, Gemini. I do feel like it is going to kind of be, it's going to kind of be a bit of a difficult time. So I don't want to freak any of you out, but if you feel like September is a lot, if this month is really challenging, you're not the only one, and it is just kind of the movements we're going through right now. Whatever is being brought up is for the sake of your integration, for the sake of your expansion, and, you know, healing is not always a blissful experience. I think we kind of get a little love and light with that here in the spiritual community. It can be very gruesome and painful, but it's a necessary part of living and growing. And what else is happening? We do also have a full moon in Pisces on September 14th, and I want to say the new moon in Libra is September 30th? I could be wrong about that. It's either the 29th or 30th. Again, I have the astrology blog down below with all the specific dates. But I do feel like with this full moon, this is actually, if I'm not mistaken, this is your 10th house? Let me actually... Yes, I believe this is your 10th house. So this is really going to be... Some of you might be feeling a lot of energy at work, for your career, your sense of purpose, your role in the world. I feel like some of you are going to be possibly, there might be some sort of loss or shedding. You might be losing people, or even a work situation, to be honest, or just thinking about leaving it behind. Because with full moons, they're a good time to really say affirmations to yourself. It's when the moon is at its full power, but after that it begins to wane, its influence begins to shrink. So it's a good time to release things as the moon is shedding itself, and you know, that umbra is growing again. It is a good time to release things. So releasing things that feel like they're preventing you from living your purpose, that feel like they're preventing you from doing what you want to do in the world. That can be a very powerful window for you. And with the new moon in Libra, that is also a really good time to reconnect with your passion, with what brings you joy. Maybe bring in some love, some passion, some creativity, even children, if that's something you're interested in. That could be a good time to set the intention for children, because 5th house does pertain to our offspring as well. But overall, just to kind of review, September is going to be a bit of a challenging month, to be honest, but it has a lot of potential and beauty if you can persevere and, you know, work with this energy and just keep pushing forward. There is a very real possibility to gain a lot more than you bargained for. So I do hope that that was helpful. I am very curious to see what the cards actually have to say for you. Before we begin with the tarot reading, I would just like to make my disclaimer that this is a general reading, meaning not all the messages are going to resonate with you or apply to you specifically. Use your own intuition and discernment to figure out what applies for your life and what should be left behind for someone else. If this message doesn't resonate at all, you are welcome to look at some of the other videos. It doesn't mean anything went wrong. I just wasn't picking up on your energy for this specific collective here. But again, you can look at your sun, moon, rising, or Venus in the September playlist. Don't get too caught up on the gender or the zodiac information of the cards. It's just the clearest, most concise translation of the energy at this time. So we are going to start shuffling for you guys. I do have links for personal readings and Reiki sessions for those of you who would like some more individualized assistance. But let's see, what is the energy for Gemini coming into the month of September? This could be pertaining to August, what's been going on for you since August. It could even be going a bit further back than that. Could be stuff you've left behind that's kind of coming up for review. What are the messages for Gemini coming into September? I am feeling like there might have been some communication that is being held back. Someone might be biting their tongue just because it is taking some time. Usually I have cards falling out. More cards by now. Oof. Some of you are definitely dealing with an earth sign. Or this reading is going to be talking a lot about this earth sign here. So that could be Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. Too many? Show me clearly. What are the messages for Gemini? Okay. Interesting. So I was talking about a change happening in your family. That could definitely be the case. It might have already begun manifesting for you guys. I have the Mother of Pentacles kind of showing up in the day-to-day for you. The Devil and the Father of Pentacles showing up in the heart or the emotional part of the past. And mentally, we have the Two of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles that came out together. So, very heavy earth energy here. We have all earth energy, with the exception of the major arcana, the Devil, which is associated with Saturn and Capricorn. So, you know, even there, we have the earth energy. This has been a lot of trying to build up your stability, a lot of trying to build a foundation for yourself or build a foundation with somebody else, especially if this person is an earth sign, including Capricorn, could also be Virgo or Taurus. With the Mother and Father of Pentacles, we are looking at either a late Aries or a late Sagittarius, as well as possible other people here. Again, this is just the translation of this energy. So this is someone who's really embodying a lot of these earth qualities, someone who's really trying to achieve or find stability for themselves, someone who's being very nourished by the earth element and, you know, taking care of their earthly needs. I do feel like this person that you might be working with, especially in a workplace situation, could also be home, could be someone you were living with, or someone you spend a lot of time with, someone you see pretty much every day. This is someone who's very nurturing, and I feel like they're helping you through some sort of situation here, but possibly involving another earth sign, or maybe this is a very complicated relationship where they are providing a lot of needs for you, and you do really care about them here with this Father of Pentacles showing up in the heart. But with this Devil card, I almost get the sense that there is some sort of manipulation. This person could very possibly, if they're taking care of you or giving you a lot of things, or just being very nurturing, there could kind of be a hidden agenda there. That could be something to keep an eye out for if you're not aware of that already. But I feel like this is actually, there's some sort of dysfunctional pattern here. And I'm actually getting the sense that this is pertaining to family for a lot of you, because we do have the Ten of Pentacles, and I was talking about family stuff coming up for you for the month of September. And I feel like with this Two of Pentacles, all of this, I guess there's going to be some sort of conversation about what is changing here. And I feel like you're really trying to strike a balance between your needs and other people's needs. It does feel like there is definitely a change going on. And it's not necessarily bad, but it might be uncomfortable, especially with the Devil. Some old ways of thinking about things or some outdated systems are definitely going to be challenged. And that might be stirring up some conflict. I'm very curious to see what the animal wisdom is for you guys. We had 2 cards fall out right away. We had the Panther and the Firefly. So Panther, this is kind of a destructive energy. It can almost feel like the Tower or Death card from the traditional tarot, meaning that it brings about a lot of change that isn't always so comfortable. Panther is associated with the shadow, so often this change can seem to come out of nowhere. But if you're being very honest with yourself and looking in your own shadow, you can kind of be aware of the ways you've been sabotaging yourself or not living up to your full potential, which is exactly why this energy strikes. This is exactly why Panther comes out. It's a very maternal energy. It's almost the dark side of the feminine, and that doesn't mean evil, but it will come in and destroy things that are no longer serving you. And it wants you to be your best. It wants you to live your best life, this energy. So that is why Panther steps in. She's kind of like Mama Bear. She's not going to let you settle for anything less. And with this Firefly card, I do feel like it is really important to pay attention to your intuition and your dreams, even if they come in flashes. A lot of the time when we have some sort of insight about something, it's very bright and luminous, and it seems like you finally put the pieces together, but then in the next moment it can just fade away. It's like we don't live with that, we don't act on it, and then we kind of just forget about it. It's really important that you follow your intuition, that you follow your dreams. And maybe this is why all of these changes are happening. If there is some sort of loss in your family or some sort of conflict where people aren't talking to each other, some sort of crumbling here, there is this potential that it's actually bringing you something that you want to do. It's helping you follow your inspiration here, because these people might have been holding you back, especially with this Devil energy. So kind of some heavy energy, not necessarily bad, but you know, we're talking about Gemini, we're talking to Gemini here, so this definitely feels weighty, and I don't think it feels very comfortable for you guys who like to be on the move, although I certainly do see some changes that are happening here. I am curious now to look at the first part of September, what is going to be introduced for this month, what themes, persons, or ideas are coming into the forefront here. What are the energies for Gemini for the first part of September? And do keep in mind that for these general readings, the time is definitely very fluid. For some of you, this stuff could already be happening. For others of you, it might not be till the end of September. What are the messages for September for Gemini? What is being introduced in September for Gemini? Again, a lot of holding back, a lot of restriction. You might be holding yourself back from the people closest to you because they might not understand you. There might be some sort of differences in beliefs, especially with the Devil. I almost feel like the collective I'm tuning into, you get scapegoated a lot. Or you might kind of be the black sheep. Interesting. Any more messages for Gemini? Show me clearly. I definitely feel like something is being brought out into the light. If something hasn't been talked about, if things have been very tight-lipped, I feel like there is definitely a confrontation or some sort of revelation that's going to be happening in September. I actually do feel like these are all the cards we need. We have the Daughter of Swords and the Strength card here. And we have the Sun, Three of Cups, and the Seven of Wands that came out together. I do feel like there is this very strong Leo energy with the Strength and the Sun. Both of these cards are talking about Leo energy. This could be referring to August, so maybe this has happened already for some of you, and it's kind of a continuation of what has happened in August, or even the end of July. But it could also be referring to an individual who has a lot of heavy Leo placements, and we were talking about your 5th house as well, which is also associated with the sign of Leo. So what I'm seeing with all of this is that you really are, I feel like you are standing up for yourself. It's important for you to not be afraid to be yourself, even if other people don't understand you, with the Seven of Wands here. And it's like you are attracting this Three of Cups, you are attracting your flock, these people who can really celebrate you. It feels more like friends for a lot of you, or even soul family. It doesn't necessarily feel like your biological family. For some of you it could be, but I'm just getting the sense that you're finding out who your real family is. And with the Sun card, that's exactly what this energy is. It's this light being shined down upon you. Shone? It's this light being cast down upon you that's really revealing who the people are in your life that are actually supportive. And I do feel like this actually has a lot to do with friendships, because Leo pertains to friendships as well. And there could be another air sign with this Daughter of Swords, but I really feel like this is your energy. This is kind of you just sticking to your guns, you saying what needs to be said, even if it's not going to be received well. Sometimes the Daughter of Swords, she can be a little bit too perceptive. She can say things a little bit too bluntly. She's very curious. She doesn't filter herself in that way. She's always asking questions. She's always making observations. And it can make other people feel uncomfortable. And if that's you, I actually feel like that's okay. You kind of just need to be strong. You need to have your strength here. This doesn't necessarily mean that you go out attacking people either. I'm not saying to start fights, to start conflict, but speak your truth. And you can do that with grace here. With the Strength card, we do have a lion, but it's not necessarily the ferocious, devouring beast that you may imagine when you think of lion. It's actually, we have a creature here, a spirit who is really quite advanced. This lion has tamed their emotional impulse, has tamed their nature, and it's this restraint that is actually their strength. This isn't someone who is lashing out. This isn't energy about attacking anyone. It's about being loving with this rose here, being true to yourself. There could possibly be a love connection coming in with someone who is a Leo, who is also bringing out these qualities in you. But I almost want to say this person is more of a friend energy, or more of a companion energy. And this is someone who's really advocating quite strongly for you. Could also be another air sign as well. I'm curious now for the animal wisdom, for all of this energy, for the beginning of September, for Gemini. We have the horse. Beautiful, you're definitely being supported, and it might not be by the people you want to be supported by, but the universe is bringing in supportive people for you. And if there is something you want to do career-wise or vocationally, something that's going to be a bit of a challenge, you are being supported. It will yield financial results for you eventually, but it does require some endurance. It does require some perseverance. You're going to kind of be a bit of a workhorse for this month, and that makes a lot of sense. We are in Virgo season, and your ruling planet Mercury is quite busy this month as well, with all of these aspects and the trines, the oppositions, what have you. So there's definitely a lot of energy that's going on in your lives, and you just kind of need to persevere. You need to go forward. You are going to be supported. And it's like, if you have that attitude, that's going to bring it to you all the quicker. Now, if you're hearing this and you are just not feeling like there are people in your life, like this, there's no way this is for me, call on these animals as totems. That's actually why I really like these this animal deck, is you can call on the animals, you can call on their spirit to accompany you through these changes. You can call on horse for strength and endurance. You can call on firefly for inspiration. You can call on panther to help you get rid of things that no longer serve you. So I would definitely keep that in mind, because I know some of you, you're really feeling like, with the Seven of Wands, you really do feel like it's you against the world. And I do feel like there are people around you who are able to support you or who are willing to support you. And perhaps that's where your strength comes in. Maybe the strong thing for you to do is open up and be vulnerable to the people who will actually support you. Let's see. We are now going to be looking at the second half of September. This is where all of the energy is going. It could be going further out as well. It could be referencing October or beyond. Where is all of this going? Where is all of this leading? Yeah, you're definitely going to be starting some new work for some of you. Something that feels really good. You are definitely guarding something that is precious to you as well. What are the messages for Gemini? That's too many. I'm going to trust that if any of those cards were meant to come out, they will fly out again, as they have a tendency to do. Mm-hmm. Alright, so we have the Mother of Wands with the Seven of Pentacles, the Ten of Cups, and the Fool card. Yeah, I definitely feel like the second half of September is really picking up in terms of pace. Maybe something you're more comfortable with, or maybe something that's more up to your speed. With this Mother of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles, though, I do feel like whatever it is you're working on, or whatever it is that you really care about, whether that's a relationship or some sort of project or perhaps a new career, I do feel like you're being very, very protective of it. You're definitely holding your magic close to you. You might be a little tight-lipped with it. And you are working on something that is going to take long-term commitment. You're not going to see results right away. That's kind of what we were talking about earlier with horse energy. I don't necessarily feel like it's going to be an immediate snap your fingers manifestation, here's everything you ever wanted. You're going to be working for this. But I feel like it's actually going to bring you a lot of joy to be doing that. It's not going to feel like labor. It's not going to feel like oppressive at all. Especially with this Ten of Cups here, this is really, really nice to see. I feel like you're working towards, whatever it is that you've always wanted. That's so much of what this Ten of Cups energy is. It's also harmony, it's interconnectedness. We have these threads here that are connecting to each other. I feel like there's a lot of support and love that is coming in for you. There are a lot of people who are supporting you with the things that matter most to you. And, with the Fool card as well, especially with the Mother of Wands, there could also be an Aries coming in by the end of the month who is helping you with all of this, with whatever it is you're working on. Could also be a romantic partner. But I feel like you're just taking the dive. You're coming into something new. You have this fresh start here. And I do feel like, honestly, just looking at the spread here, I do a very specific grid. And for the start of September, I didn't pull anything in the communication part. I don't have an extension here for this Two of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles. I do feel like for some of you, there is definitely a family member you're going to be cutting out, or someone who feels very close to you. There is definitely a change in your family or your tribe, so to speak. But I feel like you're jumping into something new, even if you feel alone. And I think it has a lot of potential to bring you happiness, both in the forms of personal happiness and happiness that you share with other people. But it does require you to take a leap of faith. And we were kind of talking about that with the Strength card. It might take a lot of strength to be vulnerable again. But overall, I feel like this is actually going in a pretty positive direction, even if it feels like there are a lot of bumps in the road, or there's just a lot of people who don't understand you or who are being very critical of you, especially for Virgo season. I don't want you to take that to heart. I do feel like the people who are coming in who really support you and really want you to be your best are going to be available to you, but you do need to be open to them. You do need to be willing to be vulnerable. And it's funny. I think a lot of the time we think that our wounds or our trauma is the most sensitive part of who we are, but the reality is our greatest vulnerability are our hopes. It is our dreams. We don't just talk about those things with everybody. We guard those things if you really pay attention. You know, especially if it's something that means a lot to us, because it's like if we get rejected for that, if we get rejected for what we truly want out of our lives, it's like we're being rejected in a very personal way. So, you know, maybe that's what you need to start sharing with people. But I definitely feel like there's something you're incubating for a while as well. I'm going to pull one more animal card here. What is the last bit of animal wisdom for Gemini? There we go. Elephant. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. This is the destroyer of obstacles. This is one of the luckiest cards in the deck. The universe absolutely is supporting you. And I really am getting the sense, for those of you who are having some sort of family trauma, there is some sort of matrilineal, or on your mother's side, there's some sort of trauma that is being resolved and worked out. You are healing your ancestry, because elephants are matriarchal. And you know, with Panther, I think of kind of the shadow or the dark side of the divine feminine. I really do feel like there's a lot of maternal energy you are working through, a lot of maternal lessons in your bloodline or in your lineage. And you are being very, very supported right now. And the universe really does have your back. Even if it feels like no one else does, you are being supported. And I do feel like whatever is blocking you is going to be stripped away. And maybe that's what this Fool energy is. You're going to have a fresh start. Also keep in mind that elephant representing Ganesh is the Lord of Obstacles. So some of you may actually have an obstacle towards the end of the month that is meant to be guiding you. It is divine intervention. It is supporting you. But for the vast majority of you, I'm really feeling like you are working through, you are persevering, you are getting pushed through or pushed along into the next phase of your life, and you're being very, very supported. So call on elephant if you're feeling stuck. It's really going to be a helpful energy for you. I do hope that this reading was helpful, Gemini. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below what's going on in your life. Again, I do have links in the description box for personal readings as well as Reiki sessions for those of you who would like a little energy boost. And if I don't see you individually, I will see you all in the next video. Bye, Gemini.